Welcome to the students of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University. In our today's session, we are going to discuss about two very prominent founding fathers of sociology. As you all are aware that Auguste Comte is father of sociology. Apart from him, we also have thinkers like Herbert Spencer, Emile Durkheim, Max Weber and others. So, in today's lesson, our focus will be on understanding what has been the major contributions of Auguste Comte, whose time period dates between 1798 to 1857. Among his major publications has been surrounding around positivism, positive philosophy, religion of humanity, and all of these publications are somewhere between 1830 to 1856. Among the major contributions of Auguste Comte, we can see we have positivism, law of three stages, hierarchy of sciences, social statics and dynamics, and also methodology. So, let us begin to explore what exactly Auguste Comte wanted to say when he proposed the concept of positivism. Basically, he was trying to give an identity to sociology as a true knowledge which can be established by adopting the method of natural sciences. In fact, Auguste Comte, he was not a direct student of sociology, he was a physicist cum mathematician, but he wanted to apply the principles of the sciences to understand society. And in this endeavor of Auguste Comte, he tried to use the principles of natural sciences to understand society. So, Auguste Comte, the founder of modern sociology, established positivism, and he is the one of the most cherished doctrines in sociology. During 1830 to 1892, Comte published 6 volumes of course of positive philosophy, and during 1851 to 54, he published 4 volumes of systems of positive politics as well. When we try to explore what are the critical principles of positivism, we come across that the logic of inquiry or the logic of investigation across all the sciences of knowledge is similar. This is what Auguste Comte tried to propose. He said that the way we try to understand physical sciences, biological sciences, the same thing can be used to understand social sciences as well, and that is why one among the first principles of positivism is identical investigation. Apart from this identical aspect, we also have the ability to predict things, as there is a scope to predict many aspects in natural sciences. So, Auguste Comte also proposed that in other social sciences including sociology, the goal of inquiry should be to explain, predict and discover. But when we talk about social sciences, probably his focus was on understanding and predicting social phenomena, discovering the new dimensions in social phenomena. Apart from identical aspects and the aspect of prediction, Auguste Comte also came up with the concept of being empirical. When we use the word empirical, it basically means that you are in a position to say anything on the basis of evidence. For instance, if you are saying anything with regard to increase in temperature, so you have evidence to show how much is the temperature, whether it is high or it is low. So, similarly in social sciences and particularly in sociology, there was an effort to prove that whatever we are mentioning as part of social reality should be evidence based. And my dear friends, you will come to explore further when you go ahead in sociology and social sciences lessons more in detail. This concept of empiricality, the concept of empiricism is very, very important and is connected around the entire debate and discussion of objectivity and subjectivity. So, we should actually be very thankful to Auguste Comte for bringing out this concept of being empirical, and I personally think being empirical is also important in your day-to-day life as well, and just not in studying society. Apart from that, see, it's a very interesting point Comte makes, that science is not similar to your common sense. Now, most of us, especially in social sciences and in sociology in particular, we say that whatever you say or whatever I say comes under the domain of common sense. But when you are saying something which is based in society, which is based in social reality, it is common sense plus some X factor, because without that X factor, that empirical base of sociology will be lost. So, Comte through positivism also was trying to differentiate between science and common sense. And very interesting aspect of Comte's positivism is also about that every science should remain free of values. In fact, when you are going to discuss more in detail about Max Weber has been given the credit of talking about values in social sciences. So, that base also, that foundation also somewhere or the other was laid by Auguste Comte when he was trying to give us the principles of positivism. Now, proceeding further, apart from positivism, Auguste Comte's very important contribution is law of three stages. So, what are these three laws? The theological stage, the metaphysical stage and the scientific stage. Now, let us try to understand in brief what these three stages are talking about. When we try to understand about the theological stage, here all the phenomena whichever is being studied under the jurisdiction of society or the existence, that is the immediate action of supernatural things. So, during theological stage, the focus is on understanding things at a very supernatural level. When you talk about metaphysical stage, probably this is slightly more advanced stage of theological stage. We are trying to explain phenomena by invoking abstract entities. So, from supernatural things, now there is focus on abstract things, on metaphysical things. And from metaphysical stage, when there is a transition, when there is a progress to scientific stage, the focus becomes establishing laws which link facts and which govern the social life. So, in theological stage, what is the dominating factor? The dominating factor is priests ruled by the military men. So, we should try to understand theological stage probably in terms of primitive or ancient, some time period between primitive and ancient stage. When we try to understand about metaphysical stage, it is dominated by churchmen and lawyers, and this is the period around the Renaissance, which you might have read while discussing about the origin of sociology. Now, when we talk about positive stage, what is the focus during positive stage? The focus is on industrial administrators, scientific and moral guides. Now, with regard to these three stages, theological, metaphysical and scientific stage, the social unit during the theological stage is family. The social unit during metaphysical stage is state, and during scientific stage the social unit is entire human race. So, you can see the gradual expansion of the social unit. Now, if we try to understand that what is this base of these three stages, why Comte would have thought of giving these three stages. So, in its inherent explanation, we have to understand one thing, that division of labor is a very important factor in the process of social evolution. So, we will see that when society is evolving from theological stage to metaphysical to the scientific stage, there is also evolution in terms of division of labor. And each stage of these three stages, they are talking about the development of human thoughts and how they have grew from the preceding stage to the next stage. And very interestingly, it is also trying to correlate the different three stages of human thought with the development of social expansion, types of social order and types of social units which have developed over a period of time. So, apart from positivism and apart from the law of three stages, Comte also presents the idea of hierarchy of sciences. This concept of hierarchy of sciences is again connected with law of three stages. Now, let us try to understand what does it mean and how it is connected. Now, as a student or as a researcher or as a person who is curious to know about social realities, we all try to understand that how sciences have evolved. Now you might have observed in your own day-to-day experiences that when you say that you are doing BA Sociology or you are doing MA Sociology, or if you hear someone saying that they are doing BSc, there is a lot of difference in terms of the perceptions of the people. So Auguste Comte, in his effort to put the various disciplines in hierarchy, he has tried to evolve a very wonderful idea. So what is that? He is trying to say that every discipline, every subject, it has evolved from simple to complex. Now, how he defines simplicity and how he defines complexity is a matter of great interest here. So, while explaining the hierarchical arrangement of the sciences, he says that the order is historical emergence and development. It means how the sciences have historically evolved and developed over a period of time. Then, what is the order of dependence? It means how one discipline is dependent on the other discipline, and very important is the degree of generality and increasing degree of complexity. It means the placement in hierarchy, the more generic subjects are, the more degree of generality is there, the subjects are at a lower level of hierarchy, more complex the subjects, they are at a higher level of hierarchy. And the increasing degree of modifiability of the facts. To what extent are we able to modify the facts? Now you will find it very interesting. In fact, for most of us, we find mathematics to be the most complex subject, including myself, because we all had real tough time, at least some of us had tough time to remember all the formula and all. But for Auguste Comte, see if you can understand, for Auguste Comte, at the lowest level of hierarchy is mathematics. Why he is putting mathematics at the lowest level of hierarchy? For example, if I ask you how much is 2 plus 2, your answer will be 4. If I ask the same question to a person living in America, how much is 2 plus 2, even he would say it is 4. So in that sense, Comte is trying to say that mathematics is a general subject, because what you will calculate out of an equation, what I am going to calculate out of equation, that would remain the same. So from mathematics to chemistry to astronomy to physics to biology to sociology and finally the morals. Now it is matter of great exploration that why Auguste Comte has put sociology on the top of this hierarchy, and in fact you might have also read that he calls sociology as crowning edifice. He is saying that sociology is complex because, for example, if I ask you, what do you think about Indian society? Your answer can be completely different from mine answer, and if I am going to ask a person who, an NRI who is based in US or UK, what he or she is thinking about Indian society, the answer can be completely different. So in this sense, sociology assumes lot of complexity, and when Comte was trying to arrange the subjects, this was one of his guiding principle. So sociology also is very interesting in terms of how it is correlated with the other social sciences. Now sociology thus emerged because human beings recognized a new set of objective facts concerning their society, and as I told you, crowning edifice, Comte tries to say that it is the crowning edifice of all the disciplines, and lot of emphasis on positive knowledge. Please understand, my dear friends, whenever we are using the word positivism or positive knowledge in the context of sociology, we are only trying to say how empirical it is, how much it is based on evidence. See, what all we are reading as part of society or part of sociology, they are highly subjective in nature. For example, if I have to make some statement on caste, my statement and your statement will be different. It can be different, it might not be different. So if we have to make a realistic statement, it has to be based on empirical facts, and that is where positive knowledge, positivism becomes very important. Now, apart from positivism, law of three stages and very interesting hierarchy of social sciences, Comte also presents the idea of static and dynamic sociology. So, when he is trying to talk about static sociology, basically this entire idea is borrowed from biology. So, static sociology means the present existing social order. So, whatever social order is existing, but we all know that society is in a constant state of change, and that is why how important it is to understand the existing social order. Equally important it is to also understand its dynamism. It means what? How the society is changing. So, if social static is concentrating on the existing social order, social dynamics talks about the social changes which have taken place in the society over a period of time. So, the first part, social static, is social order, and the changes, progress, challenges, developments which has happened over a period of time, they are part of our dynamic sociology. So, now if we try to conclude about Auguste Comte's contributions, it cannot be concluded without talking about his contribution to methodology. So, now you may get a question in your mind that he was a person from science background, and how is he eligible to talk about methodology in social sciences? Friends, he has done a very interesting work on methodology. So, when he is talking about methodology, he is trying to tell us that comparison, experimentation, observation and historical methods can be used to study about society and social realities. And I think you all will agree with Auguste Comte, because when we are talking about comparison or comparative sociology or comparative method, so let us say, how is Indian society today? How was Indian society 100 years back? How is Indian society today and how is American society today? So, we are able to make a comparison, and whenever we are doing the comparison, we are in a position to make that analysis of the differences. For instance, how was the society with specific reference to our region before the formation of Telangana, and how is the society after the formation of Telangana? So, this comparison helps us to develop a research analysis and a perspective. With regard to experimentation method, as I told in the beginning of the lesson, he was a positive philosopher. So, he felt that whatever evidence based research we are able to do in natural sciences, similarly we can do in social sciences. That is why he thought that experimentation can be part of sociological research. Observation, whatever you are observing, what are the things which is happening in your observation framework, all that is also utilized and used by the social science researchers. And definitely historical method. Historical method is one of those methods in sociology which helps us to understand the evolution of a particular process or a particular phenomenon. So, I hope friends, with regard to Auguste Comte, like his contributions on positivism, law of three stages, hierarchy of sciences, static and dynamic sociology and methodology is clear to you. Now, we talk about another very important thinker and very interesting contributions of Herbert Spencer. He was a British sociologist during the time period of 1820 to 1903. Why Herbert Spencer is important in sociology? Because he was one of those sociologists who talks about survival of the fittest. Now, when you hear this word survival of the fittest, what comes to your mind? Charles Darwin. Because Charles Darwin, who has extensively written about the origin of species, the book which was published in 1859. So, Herbert Spencer was, to a great extent, he was inspired by Charles Darwin, and whatever Darwinian principles have been applied with regard to the biological species, similar principles Herbert Spencer tried to bring in sociology as well. Herbert Spencer propagated the concept of laissez-faire, which is free market, and he was also popularly, it was popularized by very well known economists also. and among the important writings of Herbert Spencer we have Social Statics, Study of Sociology, Principles of Sociology, etc. Now let us try to understand what is the evolutionary doctrine presented by Herbert Spencer. So whenever we are using the word evolution, basically the most simplest understanding of evolution is what? Progress from simple to complex. So this is equally applicable with regard to the biological sciences, and as I told you, the credit of bringing this concept to sociology is given to Herbert Spencer. So how is he talking about this evolution, social evolution with reference to sociology? Let us try to understand. So he is saying that, Spencer is saying that society is moving from a condition of simplicity to condition of complexity. Just imagine when people were living in forests, people were living in primitive times, how they were living and how we are living today. I am sure you all will agree that the time period in those times when man was living in forest, in mountains, it was definitely a very simple, but today our social lives, our cultural lives are highly complex. So we are able to see this first doctrine of evolution. Apart from that, there is a sense of indefiniteness to definiteness. I am sure you all know about amoeba. Amoeba is a single cell organism. Because it is a single cell organism, you cannot differentiate which part is performing which function. But today, from amoeba, from single cell organism to human body, multiple cell organism, now we know what cells are performing heart functions, what cells are performing our brain functions, what cells are performing our other functions. The same logic is applicable to society also. Earlier, for example, you might have read about Indus Valley civilization. Most of the functions were revolving around religious institutions. But today, you have state, you have religious institutions, you have economic institutions, you have so much of specialization and division of labor. So from indefinite state to a clear state of definiteness where every part has its own function. So from simple to complex, from indefiniteness to definiteness. Then what more is he talking about also in terms of the functions? Earlier, when things were in undifferentiated state, almost all the functions were performed by one agency. But as things become more diversified, more complex, there are different parts which will perform different functions. Apart from this, specialization. So function is definitely connected with the concept of specialization. If I have to give you an example with specific reference to sociology, you take the example of family. Earlier, family was the center of all the functions, your economic functions, taking care of the children, taking care of the elderly, all your recreation functions. But today, we are sending our kids to daycare centers, we are sending our elderly to old age homes, and all our recreation facilities are on our mobile, very less family interaction. So we are seeing these changes in functions also to a great extent. Now, apart from this, there is a very interesting theory of Herbert Spencer which is on organic analogy. If you see the word organic analogy, organic means biological, analogy means comparison. So he is trying to compare a biological organism with a social system or a social entity. So in this sustaining system means how we are surviving, how we are sustaining. So for instance, in our sustenance, we definitely need food to eat, and from where we eat food? Through mouth. So your mouth, your gut, your abdomen, your stomach, they all are part of your sustaining system. So similarly, in society, the sustaining system is your agriculture, your industries, because of which the society is able to sustain. Apart from sustaining system, we also have distributory system. So as in a biological organism, we see that the blood is distributed. Heart is a very important agency here, and through all the nerves and all the, we are seeing that blood, it goes to different parts of the body, and oxygen is a very important component. Similarly, in society, transportation, communication also play a very, very important role in distribution. Like in a human organism or any organism, nervous system is the regulating agency. Similarly, in society, government, religion, they play a very important role in regulating the society. Apart from this organic analogy, Herbert Spencer is also making another very interesting study on evolution of societies, where he is saying that how societies are moving from simple to compound societies to doubly compound societies, and from doubly compound societies to trebly compound societies. So, if you talk about primitive stage, probably that is the stage where societies were very, very simple. Then when society's division of labor started increasing to some extent, then they converted to compound societies. The present day societies are definitely, they can be categorized under the trebly compound societies. So, as you can understand also friends, that this simple to complex to compound to trebly compound, this is definitely rooted in the principles of the evolution. Apart from simple to compound to doubly compound to trebly compound, Spencer is also talking about evolution of societies in terms of the militant society and in terms of industrial society. So, how societies have evolved, they have changed from militant state to more of a industrial state. So, when you understand what are the factors which we can include under militant state, it definitely talks about predominant organization, which is offensive and defensive military action. There is lot of focus on rigorous discipline, lot of focus on family as a unit, lot of focus on being very, very strongly regulated by the society. And when we are trying to understand about industrial society, the military organization comes at the peripheral stage, and there is more importance and focus with regard to the recognition to the people's rights, growth of free associations, free institutions come up, more of economic activities also develop to a great extent. So, when we try to understand about both Auguste Comte and Herbert Spencer, you all will definitely agree with me that their contributions has been phenomenal, and in today's time also most of the writings of Auguste Comte and Herbert Spencer, they are extremely relevant. Friends, in fact, more of exploration of Auguste Comte is required in the contemporary sociology, for the simple reason that the time around 1838-1839, when Auguste Comte gave the concept of sociology after the French Revolution and after the lot of chaos what was happening in the French society. So, from 1838-1839 time period to today's 2023 time period, it is a long duration. So, many aspects, many contributions of Auguste Comte to in today's time we question it, how relevant it is, his concept of experimentation, whether it is relevant or not. We have to understand one thing, my dear friends, that any thinker has to be studied, has to be understood from the point of view of when they have written, when they have given their contribution. Even with regard to Herbert Spencer, for that matter, none of them were students of sociology, but the kind of contributions what they have made to sociology, it is definitely one of the very, very significant foundations for the contemporary social researchers, for the contemporary students of sociology, and further add to their contributions. Now, whether it is law of three stages, definitely we can also come up with further stages after scientific stage, because now we are seeing artificial intelligence, we are seeing genetic technology. So, basically what I am trying to say is, we should not find thinkers to be irrelevant, we have to see it in the contemporary context.